Hello, Daddy folks. It is Diecast Buffet here again. Welcome back to NASCAR Thunder 2004 Career Mode. Now, the next race up is the UAW Daimler Chrysler 400 from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Well, the first 2 points-paying races of the year were kind of crazy. We won the 500, and then your defending Cup champion wins at Rockingham. So we went quickly from first all the way to 12th with 99 points out. A miserable 39th place finish at Rockingham. It wasn't a DNF, though. We survived like 2 wrecks, almost 3 wrecks. And, yeah. So, your points leader right now, Tony Stewart, looking for his 6th championship in the playthrough. Your upcoming Winston Cup schedule, though, we got Las Vegas, Atlanta, and Darlington. So these 3 tracks right here, we've won at before. I love these tracks. It's going to be fun. A lot of slipping and sliding. Some good stock car racing. So, what we got to do here, we're going to get some cars worked on. So let's go to overhaul. Go ahead and get that thing fixed up. Go over here to the engines. Let's see. Yeah, we definitely got to get our short track piece fixed. I don't know how we did not have a DNF, guys. I mean, like, for real. It was bad. I mean, we got ran into by Brian Vickers that should have been a DNF. And we're just beating and banging. Guys getting mad at us. Should have been a DNF. We got hit on the last lap, crashed into the wall. Got crashed into the wall again. And we still didn't have a engine failure. So, it's really interesting. Finish in the top 5. That is our goal. Qualifying first. Rank first in earnings. That's actually a good thing I just thought about. Since we won the Daytona 500, we should be first in earnings for a while. Real talk. We should be, because Earnhardt got second in the Daytona 500. But assuming one of these guys don't win the All-Star race, we should be able to rank first in earnings, which essentially would give us free happiness for a sponsor every week. Anyways, we're going to Las Vegas. You're going to need a lot of tire wear. You're going to need a great chassis. You're going to need a great engine to get you off turn 2 because the AIs are pretty tough here. But hey, we've won at Las Vegas before. This should be a good one. And let's see, do we want downforce here or do we want to save that for Atlanta? I want the downforce here, personally. So I'll take that. Car rating 82. Let's go to Las Vegas. Alrighty, folks. So we qualified 5th for Las Vegas. This should be an interesting one. Finally got the qualifying thing right. Let's go trackside.
NASCAR Winston Cup Racing has hit the jackpot this week as we come to Las Vegas Motor Speedway for today's UAW Daimler Chrysler 400. What are your thoughts on this race?
The good thing about tracks like this is there's plenty of room out there to avoid accidents. I look for these guys to have a pretty clean run and probably won't see the big one that we talk about at the other tracks.
The 82 car is butting heads on the racetrack with the 88 car.
You know, a little contact now and then is to be expected. The track gets crowded real quickly when you put 43 cars out there. I wouldn't be too worried about it.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Alrighty, folks, it's Kenny Wallace and Dale Earnhardt Jr. on the front row here at Las Vegas. So a top 5 qualifying spot is, I mean, it's a blessing. I mean, really, we needed it. We're in a good spot. We're like 99 points out for the Winston Cup lead. That's not bad. You're gonna have mulligans. Just don't have a DNF, right? Top 10 is our goal today. Just get a nice top 10. Don't destroy the race car. Watch your fenders. Look, this is a really good track for us, too. So we just need to take care of our stuff and keep on keeping on. How about this Smith guy? Scott Smith in that 57 car. 2nd place right now. I mean, whenever you start your career mode in this game, it's driven by Kevin LePage, and that car is borderline worst in the game, okay? He's up here running with DEI, Roush Racing. I mean, Richard Childress Racing. He's running against all these Cup champion level teams. Unbelievable drive by that 57 cam. But right now we got Earnhardt right where we want him. Just take care of our stuff. It's a long, long race, man. Don't want to push the car too much. Just enough. Should be able to get him at the line here. There we go. 5 bonus points. You know how I am about them bonus points. You gotta have them. I want to have a good, clean race here. We're going to have to reuse our super speedway equipment at Atlanta, which is the next event. And then, oh, by the way, Darlington, which is the next event after that. So if we have a DNF right now, we're pretty much going to have to share the next 2 races with the same car. So we need to take care of the car here. Be good on pit road. Don't have any major mistakes. And let's just let it play out. 26-lap race. Should see pit stops around lap 13, lap 14. But these 1.5 miles are our bread and butter. You know, it's funny how in the career mode, when you start out, it's always Daytona, Talladega, Watkins Glen, and Sonoma. Those are the 4 tracks you look out. But we've built up so many good race cars and setups that when we go to these 1.5 miles, I mean, we're cooking. We are really, really cooking. As we just botched that corner. But we're really good at these tracks. So it's... there's a lot of them, you know. For the newer fan out there, though, this is the old Las Vegas Motor Speedway. This is the, what is it, 97 through 2007 configuration. They added banking in 08 or whatnot. Yeah, it was either 07 or 08 they added the banking. And this track raced completely different back when it was the flatter version of it. Personally, I like tracks with more banking. That's just me. I'm a high bank type of, you know, fan. Obviously, I wouldn't want to see a track like Martinsville with banking. I don't think that would work too well. But I am all for high banking. And I think the greatest, like, I would say, example of that is Homestead from 2002 to 2003. You know, Homestead 2002, I'll be honest with you, it sucks. I'm just going to be honest with you. That track was not going to last in the Cup Series if they never reconfigured it. They added banking to it, redid it, and they made one of the best oval tracks, I think, in motorsports history. It doesn't have the prestige and the legendary, you know, aura to it like Indy or Daytona or anything. But if you want to talk about just pure racing, you'd be hard pressed to find a better quality track than Homestead. Doesn't matter if it's open wheel, doesn't matter if it's stock cars, trucks, whatever. It is just the perfect racetrack. And sure, you know, it's had a crapload of champions been crowned there and such, but it still feels brand new. You know, think about that configuration. That track was made in 03, right? Or late 2002, early 03. Because they, you know, the fall race in 02, they probably ripped it up after that and, you know, fixed it up. But the track went through multiple configurations as well. Initially, it was supposed to be a mini Indianapolis, like a quad oval. They changed that. It was a dangerous track at first. I think they actually had one of the drivers had a fatal accident there in the Truck Series, I believe. But it's weird how that track was not going to last in the series. Like, it couldn't produce great racing like they were wanting. And they doubled down in it, and guess what? They made it a fan and a driver favorite track. So right now, lap 10 out of 26, our tires are definitely wearing. That's why you gotta have great suspension and stuff when you go to Vegas. If you got crappy tire wear and you're sliding everywhere, oh my gosh, it's a nightmare. It is one of the most annoying tracks to drive in the game, just about. That's all you hear every corner is skirting. I think we're going to run long here because we have such a big gap on second that I don't want to give an opportunity for anyone else to lead a lap and get some bonus points. Even though, I was about to say, if Earnhardt's in second, he's already led a lap. Tony Stewart hasn't led a lap yet. I know we're going to have to race him for the championship at some point this year. So, I'm just going to stay out long and try to keep them 5 bonus points away from him. And you know what? We're going to give up a few tenths on the track, maybe a second or two. But the reality is this, fellas. Our car's fast. You know what I'm saying? We should be okay. And we're also trying to lock up the most laps led bonus. I mean, who's to say we don't get on pit road, get lapped, catch a caution, and we're screwed and we're lined up, I don't know, 12th, and we can't do no better. I'd rather at least lock up the most laps led bonus before there's any chance of a chaotic finish like that to happen. You know, it's crazy. Like, out of all the tracks that were built in NASCAR's boom during the late 90s, you know, Auto Club, Texas, you can partially consider the Atlanta reconfiguration. We already said Fontana. So Las Vegas. What other track am I thinking of? Chicagoland, which technically broke ground in 01, but, you know, they started it in the late 90s. Same with Kansas. Out of all those tracks, you can even throw Kentucky in there, even though they were mostly a feeder track for the lower series for the longest. Never thought that Fontana would be the first one to go. I never thought. You could throw Homestead in there as well. And what's so weird is that in 96, when they quit going to North Wilkesboro after that season, I think it was replaced by either Vegas or it was replaced by Fontana. And now in Fontana's final year as a 2-mile, which who knows, you know, how that goes at the time of this video. At least it is the final. They already had their final race on the 2-mile. We're going to pit here, guys. Whew, almost had a speeding penalty there. But, that was their final race on the 2-mile. It's kind of weird how North Wilkesboro makes their return to the Cup Series. Granted, all-star race, but I think eventually a points race. The final year of the Fontana 2-mile. I just find that really interesting. And to add even more, like, I wouldn't say irony, but like justice for those old school racetracks that we know and love. Now, I love Fontana. Don't get me wrong. Fontana is a great, great, great track. Does not need to be demolished, in my opinion. Texas Motor Speedway was the track that... Oh, don't want to hit Tony Stewart. Texas Motor Speedway was the track that took Rockingham's race date. They took, I think, one of the race dates, and I think the Fontana night race took the other. I could be mistaken on that. This car's loose, man. But anyways, as we've got pretty much a battle for the lead here, it's just interesting how, like, Texas Motor Speedway went from 2 500-mile races to one 500-mile race in an all-star. Now they're down to, get this, one 400-mile race. It's so ironic that they replaced these racetracks. They replaced Rockingham with Texas, and they replaced Fontana. Oh, dang it, he led that lap. It's okay. But they replaced those tracks, guys. And now, after decades, it's slowly reversing it. You know, it's like they tried everything they could to get rid of North Wilkesboro. They tried everything they could to get rid of Rockingham. And to throw in another layer to this, because why not? They did everything they could to get rid of Darlington as well. A lot of the newer fans don't know this, but there was a very, very good chance Darlington was going to get pulled from the schedule. Now, just imagine how great the racing is at Darlington every year, right? The crashes, the bashes, the finishes, X, Y, and Z, trucks, Cup, Xfinity, blah, 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 blah. They were trying to get rid of Darlington in the 2000s. They pulled the Labor Day weekend Southern 500 race day. That was the first start. Then they got rid of the 400-mile event, so it became one race per year. They moved the Darlington Day everywhere, so it basically got rid of a crown jewel. and it really hurt the aura and the history of the track. It took them a decade to finally bring it back to the Labor Day weekend, which it was on for decades and decades. I mean, it was up there in terms of legacy of the Daytona 500 in terms of how long it was around. But they legitimately were trying to get rid of Darlington. The attendance wasn't great at times. There could be other reasons. I don't know. Maybe the track wasn't ran right. Maybe they had crappy food and bathrooms. I have no idea. But my point is that Darlington is back in its prime. They had the throwback weekend, which brought it back to, it brought it back to glory, and it was, kind of the passing of the torch, giving it another life. I know I'm just rambling here, guys. I apologize. I love talking about the history of the sport. And then you see it now have the 400-mile event, right? They started doing that again, which is something they pretty much had to wait almost 2 decades to get that back. So my point is that the old school tracks that NASCAR has tried to kill off, they keep coming back. They keep coming back. They tried everything they could to get rid of Wilkesboro. They tried everything they could to get rid of Rockingham. They tried everything they could to get rid of Darlington. I mean, they got rid of even the Southern 500 moniker. They called it, what was the Dodge Charger 500 at times. I mean, they did everything they could. And now Darlington's back in its prime, and it's a crown jewel event once again. And I kind of feel like the same thing's going to happen to the Brickyard. I feel like eventually in due time, and this may age poorly, I don't know when this is going to be uploaded, but I feel like in due time they're going to add the Brickyard 400 back to the circuit, and they're going to run the oval again. I truly do believe that, because I think the next gen car would race unbelievably good there. It races perfect at Fontana, which is the exact reason they shouldn't bulldoze it. It races great at Pocono, great at Michigan. Guess what? Indianapolis is a 2-mile track, or 2+ mile track, as we are just sliding everywhere now. Our tires are definitely worn. But it's just fascinating how the old tracks that the fans did not want to see go. The fans that that showed up and said it's a huge mistake them getting rid of Rockingham back when it first happened in 2004. They said this is a huge mistake and it's going to bite them. And then borderline 2 decades later, guess what? They repaved it, and all signs point it's getting a top 3 National Series revival. And I imagine it's going to be a cup date. They're just waiting for the right time to do it. I could be completely wrong, but you don't spend millions of dollars repaving a facility the size of Rockingham to just bulldoze it. That's a win at Las Vegas. Domination. Got it done. When you have a bad race at the Rock, I love Rockingham. Sometimes you just need to go take them to the woodshed. We took them to the woodshed, boys. I love these 1.5 mile races. When the racing's good, they're fun. And, the next gen cars are like that. The next gen cars, they bring back that Nextel Cup. Unpredictable. You don't know what you're going to see. Hard crashes. Anyone can win feel. There was a time and place where if it wasn't, back in the 2010s, if it wasn't Truex, Kyle Busch, or Kevin Harvick, no one else is going to win it. Only one of those 3 would win just about every 1.5 mile race, it seemed. Sure, Brad Kay would win some, Logano, X, Y, and Z, but my point is they would go and win 7 or 8 races a year, and half of those are 1.5 miles. So my point is that seeing the parity at the 1.5 miles again, it brings me back to the Winston Cup era, because that's how it was. You would go one week, Marlin would win, right? You go the next week, Gordon would win. And then the next week, Kurt Busch would win. You never knew. And we're getting back to that again, which I think is really important. I just hope that they keep it going that way. On to victory lane here at Las Vegas. So our second win of the year. Desperately needed that for the points, just to kind of right the ship, so to speak. Desperately needed that, and hey man, huge win for the team. I think it's career win number 77, I think. Next race could be at Atlanta Motor Speedway. That track always performs good. Whether we're crashing out or not, it's always a good show. We're probably going to run the alternate in that race. We'll probably debut it in the first points race. You know I love doing different alternate paint schemes and stuff. I love that. Like, the attention to detail in this game is so much fun, especially when you role play and you make it just so much more than face value. You know, a lot of people, when they play the NASCAR games, it's okay, go win the championship, sign the most expensive sponsor, and just ignore everything else. To me, I like to immerse myself in the Winston Cup circuit or whatever. And this was just a good old woodshed yard whipping. I mean, 22 out of 26 laps led, domination. Hey, we took him to the woodshed, boys. I'll take it. How about Michael Waltrip in the top 10? That's something you don't see every day, guys. And Sam Smith, or Scott Smith, excuse me. Great run. Mayfield didn't fare too bad. Think about it. It's a single car operation. Evernham has fell to a single car operation. No disrespect to Mayfield, but clearly they're not a championship threat. A decent finish there. But you can see all these drivers that used to be championship caliber. Rusty Wallace, nope. Not Dale Jarrett, but Mark Martin, nope. There's Dale Jarrett's old car. Terry Labonte, not a championship threat, but they can't do much half the time. Scott Wimmer, no go. It's just interesting seeing how all these drivers that are, tough break for Kurt Busch there, but all these drivers that usually are contending for wins every week are all retired, and you're seeing the next crop of drivers come in. It's the immersion of this game, guys. It's why it is the GOAT. I mean, they even have detailed trophies for each race. I'm telling you guys, it's the GOAT. If you haven't picked up this game, guys, it's literally like $6 probably online right now shipped. Do yourself a favor. Pick it up for your PS2 or download it on the emulator or however that works. I couldn't figure it out, but I used the real PS2. That's all for now, fellas. Thank y'all so much for watching the video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Next race could be at Atlanta and Darlington coming up. You're not going to want to miss those events. Should be a barn burner. I'm out of breath. I need some coffee. Thank y'all so much for watching. Feel free to check out that promo code down below. Don't have to. Diecast Buffet. Signing off.